Here's your wrestling news for November 26, 2025. Your headlines for today include backstage tension, Hayes Gunther issues reportedly emerge after Raw botch, brutal NXT spot sparks concern from WWE officials, real story inside. Backlash erupts as WWE fans accuse creative of scrapping original ideas, segment identified. Penta injury update, condition, recovery, and who was meant to win on Raw, all details revealed. Brock Lesnar laughs off embarrassing Raw fall, footage goes viral. Fan sign targeting TKO pulled from Raw broadcast by security. John Cena shocks fans by naming Jevon Evans and TNA star as wrestling's future. Brodie Lee Jr. finally clarifies his AEW contract status, and more. Fans were left shaken after Penta suffered a frightening fall during last night's Raw, but a new update has finally provided some clarity, and the news is far better than many initially feared. During the post-show Raw, Sean Ross Sapp provided a clearer look at what unfolded behind the scenes. He made it clear from the start that the incident was nothing more than an unfortunate accident, emphasizing that Penta was ultimately fine. According to Sapp, the shoulder pain and brief inability to move his arm were simply the immediate effects of the impact, not signs of a serious injury. He also stressed that no one involved was at fault, reinforcing that it was a freak moment rather than a mistake by any performer. Now this one ain't WWE's fault, man. This one isn't anybody's fault. Things seemed okay with him as he went through the curtain based on people I talked to. Sapp confirmed that the decision to stop the match was made out of caution. Penta had just delivered a hurricanrana off the barricade but landed hard on his shoulder, a moment that instantly raised flags for the ringside officials. The match had to be stopped. They went to a commercial and then had to stop the match because Penta took a spill. Didn't look great, and wisely and fortunately, it was called to a stop. Once the referee realized the landing looked legitimately dangerous, WWE ended the bout immediately for Penta's safety, allowing Solo Sikoa to advance in the tournament. Backstage, Penta was reportedly moving fine, an encouraging sign after such a scary moment. Penta later addressed the situation directly on X, assuring fans that while the fall was real and painful, his determination remains intact. Thank you to everyone who has checked in on me. This injury tested my body and spirit, but it also awakened the strength that has always guided me. I'm a Mexican warrior, forged in struggle, honor, and heart, and though the fall was hard, I rose with a fire stronger than ever. He also took a moment to show respect to Solo Sikoa, acknowledging their professionalism inside the ring. To my rival, my deepest respect. Thank you for your professionalism and for a clean, dignified battle. I recognize your dedication and honor. I'll be back very soon, stronger, more prepared, and determined to finish what I left pending. Thank you for standing with me, because this war still has chapters to be written. According to Brian Alvarez, Solo Sikoa was always scheduled to win the match, so the finish remained the same despite the early stoppage. Penta's update confirms he's okay and already focused on returning, setting the stage for an emotional comeback when the time is right. Was WWE right to stop the match? And once Penta is cleared, should he be slotted back into the tournament? Share your thoughts in the comments below. A clip from Raw has sparked a wave of speculation, with many fans convinced that Carmelo Hayes was legitimately angry at Gunther after their botched DDT spot during the quarterfinals match. Social media flooded with theories claiming that when Gunther reached down to check on Melo by touching his arm, Hayes quickly yanked his arm away, interpreted by some as a sign of real frustration. However, the situation appears far more controlled than online reactions suggest. If you watch the footage closely, Carmelo Hayes actually checks on Gunther first in a subtle blink-and-you-miss-it moment after the landing. So when Gunther went to return the gesture a second time, Carmelo pulling his hand away wasn't anger, it was awareness. He already knew he was fine, and more importantly, he understood the cameras were rolling and wanted to stay fully in character. Rather than a backstage issue, it comes across as two professionals ensuring each other were okay, followed by Hayes snapping right back into the moment to protect the intensity of the match. Brock Lesnar may be one of the most intimidating forces in WWE history, but even the Beast incarnate isn't amused to the occasional wipeout, and this time he handled it in the most Brock Lesnar way possible. After his slip during the November 24th episode of WWE Raw, new backstage footage surfaced revealing how Lesnar reacted once the cameras stopped rolling. As he and his heel Survivor Series War Games team were heading to the back, Lesnar noticed the exact spot on the entrance ramp where he had lost his footing earlier in the night. Without missing a beat, he walked over, stomped on the same spot, pointed directly at it, and yelled, "This right here," Paul Heyman, standing behind him, burst out laughing and responded, "Whew, that was funny." Drew McIntyre, who was walking with them, decided to get in on the joke as well. He stepped over to the same spot and stomped it himself, triggering even more laughter from Lesnar and Heyman. WWE quietly deleted the botch from their official broadcast, but the leaked footage has already made its rounds online. Fans are loving this rare, unguarded moment from the former UFC champion, showing a lighter, more playful side that stands in hilarious contrast to the chaos and destruction he typically brings to the ring. Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. An awkward moment unfolded on WWE Raw during the November 24th main event, and it had nothing to do with what was happening inside the ring. As Drew McIntyre made his entrance at the Paycom Center in Oklahoma City, one fan sign at ringside immediately grabbed attention. It read, "Our last WWE show. Thanks, TKO." It was the first and last time it appeared on camera. According to fans in attendance, WWE security quietly confiscated the sign during the commercial break. The removal reportedly happened without any confrontation, but the sign did not return once the show resumed. Despite being pulled, screenshots of the message spread online almost instantly, fueling discussion about its timing and intention. The frustration behind the sign reflects a larger conversation brewing for months. Ever since WWE merged with UFC under endeavor to form TKO, fans have criticized the steep rise in ticket prices. Many have argued that the company's pricing model has drifted too far from what average working-class fans can reasonably afford, with complaints appearing regularly across social media. The confiscated sign, calling this their last WWE show, hit directly at that ongoing backlash. Do you think WWE made the right call by removing the sign, or did the decision only reinforce the very criticism the fan was making? Share your thoughts below. The second vignette for Shiloh Hill aired tonight on NXT, continuing the mysterious evolution of his character. The segment opened with Hill pulling out one of his teeth, clearly a fake attached to a denture plate, but the choice raised immediate questions about whether the character will appear on television with a missing tooth going forward. This week's vignette dug deeper into Hill's personal backstory. He talked about his family, his early connection to wrestling, and his childhood moments wrestling with his father, his dad playing The Undertaker while Hill played Stone Cold Steve Austin. But it was the closing line that had everyone doing a double take. Hill explained that he prefers his smile with the tooth missing because it reminds him of his friends in the woods. Moments later, he abruptly realized he didn't have his bolt cutters and ended the vignette. What makes this especially interesting is how closely it mirrors elements from Bray Wyatt's mythology. Hill referenced wrestling his father and breaking his father's nose in the same promo where he mentioned his friends in the woods. Bray Wyatt once delivered a famous promo about setting fire to his father's boat, symbolically suggesting, within kayfabe, that he may have killed his own father. The parallels are impossible to ignore: the rural imagery, the cryptic childhood stories, the dark tone, and now the implications of violence within the family. Whatever direction WWE is taking with Shiloh Hill, the character has already developed a clear, sinister undertone. The hints are subtle but deliberate, and each vignette pulls the audience deeper into a mystery that feels like it could explode into something much larger on the NXT stage. John Cena appeared on NXT this week in a pre-recorded video package to announce the participants for the Iron Survivor Challenge matches at Deadline. As expected, WWE used Cena's star power to give the announcement extra weight, but one surprising detail stood out. This marks John Cena's final televised appearance as a WWE superstar on weekly programming. His only remaining dates are Survivor Series and the Saturday night's main event finale, where he'll wrestle the last match of his career. Cena's segment also delivered a fun moment as he struck Joe Hendry's signature pose while revealing him as one of the men's selections, instantly becoming a new meme among fans. On the men's side, Cena chose Joe Hendry, Jevon Evans, and Dion Lennox, with a surprise going to TNA's X Division champion Leon Slater. The final slot came down to the winner of tonight's main event between Miles Bourne and Trick Williams. Bourne scored the victory, officially securing his place at Deadline. What stood out during the segment was Cena calling Leon Slater and Jevon Evans future of the business. He said, "When you talk about the future of this business, no two names come to mind faster than Jevon Evans and Leon Slater from TNA. A pair of 21-year-olds who are way ahead of their time, fun to watch, and look to big things on the road ahead." For the women, Cena selected Kendal Gray, Lola Vice, Sol Ruca, Kalani Jordan, and Jordan Grace. It's a stacked lineup, and Kendal Gray's inclusion continues her rising momentum. The vacant Women's Speed Championship finally found a new home on Tuesday as Zaria and Fallon Henley met in the tournament finals. Zaria entered with a clear power advantage, while Henley relied on speed and experience to keep the match competitive. The opening half of this 5-minute sprint stayed evenly balanced, but once Zaria locked in a Texas cloverleaf, Henley's situation looked increasingly dire. Both women used the limited time well, avoiding the rushed feel that often plagues speed title bouts. As the clock wound down, Zaria appeared fatigued, Henley managed to land a DDT but couldn't score the pin, and the time expired just as Zaria hoisted her up for a finishing move. Ava then emerged to declare that a winner was required and ordered the match to continue, raising questions about the entire point of the time limit structure in the first place. Still, the sudden extension kept the result on the same night. The finish came when the rest of Fatal Influence intervened, giving Henley the opening she needed to secure the victory and claim the vacant championship. The aftermath revealed a deeper story. Zaria competed alone, with no sign of Sol Ruca. Earlier in the night, Ethan Page advised Sol to stay focused on her own goals rather than accompany Zaria to ringside. The entire purpose of Zaria entering the tournament was to bring the speed title back to her friend, and failing to do so may create new tension between them. Given their recent friction, a split now feels increasingly likely. What do you think of this outcome, and where do you see the Zaria-Sol Ruca story heading next? Ying Lee is the new TNA Knockouts champion. Carlos Silva from TNA presented her with the title as she celebrated with a happy crowd. The former WWE star, known to many as Xia Li, captured the title in a triple threat match by defeating Jordynne Grace and former champion Kalani Jordan. Kalani once again stood out with her crisp in-ring work. She continues to be viewed as one of WWE's brightest future names, and performances like this only reinforce that belief. However, the loss puts her in a complicated position. After turning heel with the Knockouts Championship, she was excommunicated from the NXT roster. Now, with the title gone as well, she no longer has the safety net of TNA or a championship to fall back on. Her next move is going to be very interesting, as WWE will need to decide how to rebuild or redirect her character following this major setback. The Evolve Women's Championship closed out this week's Gold Rush special, with Gray defending her title against Lainey Reed. Ava set the tone early by banning JC Jane and Fallon Henley from ringside to ensure a clean title fight. Reed carried a slight size advantage, but the match was clearly booked to make both competitors look strong. Despite the ban, Jane and Henley still tried to interfere, only for Ren Sinclair and a returning Charlie Dempsey to step in and neutralize them. In the ring, Reed caught Gray with a stiff super kick, but the champion recovered, countering a moonsault into a German suplex before hitting her finisher to retain the title. WWE officials reportedly took note of one moment in particular, Reed tripping Gray off the apron into the steel steps. The spot looked brutal on TV, and while it was planned, the execution briefly raised concern backstage. Fortunately, there were no injuries, and the camera angle helped sell the impact without exposing the safety. Gray continues to look far ahead of most Evolve talents and appears destined for NXT and eventually the main roster, where a fresh infusion of young talent is badly needed. What did you think of this title match? And is Gray ready to move up to NXT full-time? Share your thoughts below. Dark State also delivered a promo tonight, with Dion Lennox clearly fired up after hearing John Cena's recent praise. The group hinted at expanding their dominance beyond the tag division, suggesting they may soon target singles gold for Dark State as well. It'll be interesting to see if they follow through and make a serious play for another championship. The Men's Evolve Championship was on the line in the first matchup when Jackson Drake put the belt on the line against Sean Legacy. The crowd was definitely enjoying it and seemed hyped for a possible title change, but it wasn't meant to be. Legacy came close a few times, but Drake was able to get the win with a running knee to retain his belt. That was WWE NXT for this week. How did the show land for you? Which segment stood out as the best of the night, and what made it work? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Brodie Lee Jr. has finally cleared up a rumor that's followed him for years. Despite his long-standing presence on AEW programming and the company's continued tributes to his late father, the young star in the making revealed that he is not officially signed with All Elite Wrestling, at least not yet. During an appearance on the Wrestling Classic, the 12-year-old explained that while many fans assumed he'd already had a contract, the truth is slightly different. AEW did present him with an offer, but it doesn't activate unless he chooses to accept it at age 18. I'm not signed. Everybody thinks I'm signed. I'm not signed. I signed a contract for when I turn 18. A contract is in place. The deal was that when I turn 18, if I want that contract, it's always open. Brodie added an unexpected detail that immediately caught fans' attention. He has another contract waiting for him down that road, one involving a potential match with none other than Jon Moxley. I also signed a random contract for when I turn 18, me versus Moxley in a death match. I don't know if I'll take that. I'll definitely wrestle him, just maybe not in a death match. The offer itself is symbolic, but deeply meaningful. It shows the level of respect AEW still extends to the Lee family, and how committed the company remains to honoring Brodie Lee Sr.'s legacy, both publicly and privately. If the day comes when Brodie Lee Jr. chooses to step into the ring, AEW has already left the door wide open for him. Don't miss our next video coming at 5:30 p.m. Eastern with all the latest wrestling updates. Smash that bell icon and select all notifications so you're always in the loop.